To Norris, happy 50 years. It's been a fun ride.
Happy 50th celebration to Norris.
A happy anniversary to Norris, and many more years to come.
I wish the Norris Community School District best of luck in their next 50 years.
I'd like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary. Go Titans.
Just want to say thank you and look forward to another 50 more.
Happy 50th, Norris. We are Norris.
I would just like to wish Norris High School a happy 50th years.
I just want to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary. We are.
I would like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
I want to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th anniversary, Norris.
We wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
Happy 50th, Norris.
Happy 50th, Norris.
I would like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary. There's no place like Norris.
And I'm excited that they have been together for 50 years. And I can only wish them the best because I know they are the best.
I would like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary and many, many more.
I'd like to take this opportunity to wish the Norris School District a very happy 50th anniversary.
I sure hope that you have a happy 50th anniversary coming up here.
This is an important day, so it doesn't seem like it could possibly be 50 years, but I guess it maybe is.
I would like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
I would like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
Happy anniversary to Norris. I'm very proud of you, so glad to have been a part of it.
I would like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
I'd like to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary.
Congratulations to the Norris School District.
Yay for Norris. Happy 50th.
50 years. 50. 5-0, baby. 50 years of Norris history. What an amazing story. What an epic adventure. Let's hear about it.
I was a member of the first school board when we reorganized in 1965. We were lucky to get started on a good note by having Dr. Shepard here to lead us through the times that we had.
There had been a study committee in Southeast Lancaster that involved the schools, a number of schools, including Panama, Hickman, Firth, Roca, some country schools, and Cortland. And they had taken a vote, and it went down strong against it. Don Vandertook from Panama that was on the committee, initial committee.
There was a big group in Panama that did not want nothing. There was quite a group that wanted to go to Adams, and then there was a few clear on the northwest that preferred Bennett.
I called the director of consolidation for the state of Nebraska and talked with him, and I said, is there anything we can do? And he said, there's only one way you can go. If you run a petition route, you may get enough districts.
I don't like the way the vote was set up. Panama and Hickman and Firth were going to vote in one group because we were the K-12s. And then Holland and Roca and Princeton and the country groups was going to vote together, and they were all K-8s. So this was become a big issue in Panama.
80% of Hickman were for it. 60% were for it from Firth, and 80% from Roca.
And it had between 80 and 85% of the people signatures on it, requesting that they not be part of the consideration for this merger.
Hickman and Firth, along with 6 rural districts, formed the nucleus of Norris. Panama later joined a year later, and along with Cortland. Sprague Martell elected to go to Crete. Bennett went to Palmar.
in 1964, and we opened school at that time. We set up 3 different sites. Roca had elementary young people from 1st through 6th. Hickman had the junior, senior high school and kindergarten, and then Firth had grades 1 through 6. And we bused kids all different directions.
I went to Norris the first day of school when it began. I came through the Panama school system, but my parents lived just across the street or the country road from Norris, so they petitioned me in. And so the first day of school was really interesting.
My 5th grade year in school, I was a student in Firth, and we stayed in Firth. And I remember Hickman consolidating that same year. As I recall, Panama did not go in consolidate the very first year.
Everybody got on buses. We all went to Hickman. And I don't want to say all because I'm just talking in reference to myself in high school. We went to Hickman and we got off the bus and they said, "Welcome to Norris." No, I guess they didn't say Norris because we didn't have a name, supposedly. Welcome. And they showed us to the gymnasium and we were crowded on the stands. And they all talked to us and said, "You are the guys that are going to make the new school." And because of the schools that had joined together, they had chosen the colors of red, blue, and white because many of the surrounding schools that were put together had used either red or white or blue-white as their school colors. Now I came from Panama, but Panama didn't come in that first year, and we were black and orange, so we just did not fit. But I still thought that was pretty patriotic to go red, white, and blue.
Now we got the name Norris from George W. Norris, who was a senator, a great senator, and we traveled out to McCook with members of the student council and talked to Mrs. Norris. Of course, the senator was gone a number of years before that, and she was so excited. She gave us a picture of him that we have in the school.
And then the second year, we had other schools come in, and one of them was Cortland, and then of course Panama. And I felt comfortable because the Panama kids joined us.
But the second year, I remember heading into 6th grade, and we were bused to Panama. And for my junior high years, grade 7 and grade 8, we had classes in Hickman. We had the junior high in Hickman.
I remember getting on the bus, being transported to Firth, because I came from Holland, being transported to Firth, and then in Firth we get on another bus to go over to Cortland.
I used to be the elementary secretary in 1965 to 1970. I was 2 years in the Firth Elementary and 2 years in the Panama Elementary, and I was here at Norris 1 year down at the elementary.
Our hot lunch program was set up so that we could prepare lunches at Firth and then bus them over to the other sites at the same time.
We used to have to take the school nurse around, and we delivered food to Cortland, and we was up to Roca and did some things up there.
And we graduated in the Firth auditorium. We had 48 students in my graduating class. And now as a teacher, I think, oh my goodness, 48 is so small in comparison to what we're graduating now from Norris.
The board took some real great moves. Number one, they were determined that when we made a high school, built a high school, it would not be in any town. It would be out in the middle of the country someplace within the total district.
We didn't have any grandiose plans as to what this school should look like back then. In fact, we spent all of our efforts attempting to get a new district, a district that looks like the district right now. It's the same district as that we had 50 years ago.
I graduated from Hickman as the last class from Hickman in 1964. So I didn't have the opportunities that Norris gives to its students. So I was absolutely thrilled, as were my parents and my other classmates, when Norris was built and we think the people that did a great job. Made a community out of a lot of little towns by building Norris in one area.
As second year of Norris, I was at Panama the year before, and that was one of the best moves I ever made in my life, was to come here. This building was starting to be built, and the west wall, it was the gymnasium, blew down, so they had to redo that. So that's back when it started, and I can always remember when that started here.
But at the semester of my freshman year, that is when we moved in to the high school here in this building. And so there was 2 buildings on site when Norris started, and that was the elementary building and the high school building.
Now, I got to say, my first year, who was here, Dr. Shepard, 2 of them, in fact, had his Dr. Shepard, then his Wes, and then his twin brother took over after that, after a year or less was. So we had 2 Shepards. There was 2 ladies that had been teaching in Panama, so I'd had their influence. I wasn't with them, but because they started at Norris the year I went to Panama. But Mrs. G, and she was a business teacher, Faye G, and she had been at Panama for many years. And Mrs. Kettlehut was a school counselor, and so she had been here for many years. And so those are the 2 that helped me, fit in.
I got hired in 1971, and it was really fun to come back because the building was, I think, maybe 6 months old when, or maybe a little older. I think they moved in January and I started then in September. So I had a beautiful facility to work in.
I started back in, I think it was 1973-74 school year. Dave was a school resource officer out here at Norris, and he used to come out with his service dog, Ike. And I can remember that he used to walk down the halls with Rex Pig, and Rex was just terrified of the dog. And he was always constantly looking down at where the dog was because he was, for fear he was biting, but he was the nicest dog in the world.
Well, when I first came to Norris, I was in preschool. There was a time that we didn't have preschool. We did have preschool, but I was one that got to go to preschool. And when I first came here, the campus was just the 2 buildings, an elementary school and a high school. At the high school that time was grades 7 through 12, and the elementary was pre-kindergarten through 6th grade, and there was just the 2 kindergarten rooms and the 5 pods and a lunchroom, and the lunchroom was the gym as well.
Chuck Heller was the new superintendent, and so then eventually Dr. Nozzle here was many years, and boy, he was something else to have around.
I've been a teacher and an employee of the Norris School District since the fall of 1978.
I was hired in the fall of 1978, and at that time of hire, Gil Breed was the principal assigned to the building.
We had 2 to 3 classrooms per grade level, and we had slightly less than 400 students in the elementary building.
We had grades preschool through grade 6 just in that elementary building.
Then in 78, I got a call to come and be the elementary librarian aide, and I was there for 25 and a half years.
I did serve on the board from 76 to 80, and that's when we built the middle school, the first middle school addition over here.
74, I think it was, they built onto the west side of the high school. Then in 79, they built the middle school, and we're just continuing to grow from there.
Since we've grown a little bit, we have Pence's Palace down there. He's got his own gym. They've added rooms on in the elementary. Up in the high school area, I was in 7th grade when the new middle school at that time opened, and some of us still call it the North High School gym. We still call it the old middle school gym. But that was when I was in 7th grader, so my 8th grade year I went through the middle school. It was connected to the high school, but we had kind of our own separate identity as a middle school.
I joined the Norris School District in the 1979-80 school year. I came here as the middle school principal and assistant superintendent, and spent the next 24 years here in the system. Eventually my position was divided into two positions, and my last 10 years I spent as the superintendent of schools.
I have been here for 34 years teaching science here at Norris. I was hired here, I think, because Dr. Nozzle actually almost ran me over before my interview. He did have to tell me that, and so now Larry Grosshands tells me that. So they told me I had to be hired because they almost killed me.
I began my educational career here at Norris in the fall of 1987 and was a classroom teacher in special education for 23 years before I took over as the activities director here at Norris, which I have served in the last 5 years.
It was my great honor to serve as a superintendent of the Norris School District from 1997 to 2010. Those were exciting years for Norris. Enrollment went up nearly 50%. From 1,443 to almost 2,100. Throughout its 50-year history, the Norris schools have been known for excellence in academics, fine arts, performing arts, athletics, and career education.
I'm currently the intermediate school principal, and when I arrived at school in 2000, I became the elementary principal. Over this period of 14 years of service, I've had the opportunity to work in the elementary setting, grades kindergarten through now 5th grade.
This year is another anniversary for Norris as well. On May 22nd, 2004, Norris was struck by a devastating F4 tornado. The way that the community and the schools all pulled together is something I'll always remember.
Unfortunately, we went through a tornado, and that kind of changed everything about our perspective. We lost our building, particularly to do any of my labs in family consumer science. So we were in portables outside the building. And I remember we had one room that we teachers could go to, and we tried to use the computers, and as you drug the mouse, you could actually feel the sand and the grit just accumulate under your little mouse, and it was really desperate feeling that we didn't have our facilities.
I retired in 2004 when the tornado went through, and we spent most of the summer out in the parking lot cleaning up some library books and trying to get things back together.
I want to commend Galen Bolt, who got us together as an administrator, and we met at a church after the tornado, and he spoke so clearly about how it isn't a building, we are the people, and we are the group that will continue on and will forge on, and we did.
You know, I was involved, we were set to have an anniversary celebration here 10 years ago, and I was asked to serve at that time and be on that committee. And of course you all know what happened 10 years ago.
During this time that I've been here, there have been 3 building projects that I've been associated with. One, we added on to the north side of the elementary. Secondly, we became involved in the reconstruction after the tornado. And most recently, we are involved with the intermediate school, which is for grades 3, 4, and 5.
Later on, the elementary went to a K4 system about 10 years ago, and by that time we had worked up to 7 teachers per grade level, and we were close to 800 students. So we dropped 2 class levels, but yet gained over 400 students in that time.
Great foresight by the people who first founded the district by buying 160 acres, plenty of room to grow out here. All the fields, we have soccer field, a football field, softball field.
From an athletic director standpoint, I've watched Norris grow from program offerings of 9 to our current program offering of 17 varsity sports.
Many of you know I coach wrestling here, helped start the wrestling program. Now my son coaches it.
I coached in my early years basketball, and I also coached volleyball for about 25 years.
You know, there was no soccer or tennis or baseball when I was in high school, and those things have been added. Great opportunities for kids, along with VICA, and our drama and music programs have continued to expand.
I am a sponsor of FCCLA, which stands for Family, Community, and Career Leaders of America, and it's one of the outgrowths of our FCS department, and I think there's been a lot of changes. It was neat. It was called FHA when I was one of the founding members when Norris was started, and now to continue on with it has been changed to FCCLA. And organizations like that, in addition to sports and drama, etc., are such a vital part of all of Norris today.
Through the years, as the numbers grew, we were tipping enrollment numbers of like 800 students in just our elementary building alone. During those times, I would sometimes laugh to myself and think, oh boy, can I ever relate to the nursery rhyme, there was an old woman who lived in the shoe, we had so many children, didn't know what to do.
I worked here for 37 years in kindergarten, and the biggest change I've seen is we went from classes of maybe 15 to 19, 20, and now they have 190 kindergartners in 9 different classes.
When I first started, we were a lot smaller. We might have around 60 to 80 kids per class, and now we're up to 170, 180 students per class.
Classes, sizes of, when I graduated, it was about 90, and now we have classes in the 160s and 170s, so it's been quite a change that way with the number of people.
This has been a tremendous undertaking to make this decision. The school board had the vision in order to decide when the elementary got to be a certain size that they were going to move on and start looking at alternatives. That became the 345 building, which we now are occupying and housing approximately 480 students this year, with the potential of letting it grow as much as 600, which would be approximately 200 per grade.
Just in the fall of 2013, grades 3 and 4 students were moved to the intermediate building. And so that leaves the elementary building right now consisting of preschool through grades 2.
Now I teach in the K1-2 primary building, and we have about 500 students, and we actually have a kindergarten class that's our largest ever, and we have 9 different teachers. So from going from 2 to 3 teachers per classroom to 7, and now we have a grade level with 9. And there's been great growth in these 36 years that I've been an employee of the district. We've had, our students have grown, our buildings and campus have grown.
I think our staff is the best anywhere. They really care about the kids, and what their mission is to know that everything we do in the school is to see that every kid can succeed at some level.
I think we have a wonderful staff here at Norris. Their main goal is to do the very best that they can for each and every child to reach their full potential.
Staff all works together to make sure that the kids do actually progress and do what we would want them to do, to be excellent leaders in their community.
And looking back over all the years, I have nothing but positive and wonderful things to say about my experience here at Norris. And all the way along, I would like to thank all the staff who have helped me so much. And I just really think part of what makes Norris such a successful community and such a great place is that all the teachers and administrators are so helpful and really want to strive to make the best possible experience for students. And I think that's definitely a big part of who we are as a school.
One great thing about Norris over the past 50 years is bringing all small communities together. This great opportunity made it better for all students to succeed. This is why we are Norris.
Norris High School has been nothing but great to me, and it's brought great things throughout the 4 years I've been here.
Coming to Norris has been the best decision of my life, and I just want to wish Norris a happy 50th anniversary. We are.
What makes Norris kind of a unique school is location, and south of Lincoln. It's also a combination of, therefore, of a rural and Narek Lincoln been somewhat city school.
Plenty of parking and 4 buildings, along with all our transportation all on one site, which is just, you know, the people that, when they first founded this, had great foresight in seeing that.
I think of our support staff that gives so much time. I think of our system as a wheel with all the spokes, and every spoke has to work to make that team work. Whether it's the bus drivers, whether it's the cooks, whether it's the para staff, our parent-teacher organization group, our administrative group, every one of those spokes have to work for that wheel to turn to keep this game rolling.
It's still that community aspect, and people say, where are you from? You're from Norris. You know, even though I grew up in Panama and I've lived in Hickman, I'd still say we're from Norris, and people say that.
I've always been very impressed with the Norris School District. I was fortunate enough to have 3 children attend and to graduate from this district, and was very pleased with the quality of education that they received here. One thing I've found over the years is that the student body of Norris is one of the best student bodies around. We frequently get comments from other places, whether it be restaurants, other school districts where our students have visited, in terms of their behavior, and that always makes me feel proud.
Now, through the years, what's been kind of a pleasure is students who later come back here. One of them's my son, but Leonard Vermoss, Judine Price, they are both graduates in Norris, all graduates in Norris.
We are getting a lot of second generation of students to come back, so I think that speaks well of the school and the district that we have former students now sending their children here.
I think it's a real compliment to the school district in terms of the amount of attention and support the school district and the patrons of this district give to the school. We're very fortunate to have the quality of educational experiences. I know Norris enjoys a reputation as one of the finest school districts in the state of Nebraska, and I feel that that's well deserved.
We've always been a family and still continue to be a family. So that's the cool part of Norris.
Norris. Did Norris just happen? No, Norris did not just happen. We are so blessed and privileged for the support that we have in the community.
I am deeply impressed, as are so many who know a little bit about the lore and history of the Norris District, to recognize that it required communities coming together to create this space in the middle of a cornfield, very humble origins, but driven by a sense of ambitious vision for doing more for kids and creating better opportunities for student learning. So these communities came together and created this campus space. In the 10 years in which I've been proud and privileged to be a member of the Norris team, I have seen our district recover from a devastating F4 tornado and do all the basic remodeling and renovation that was necessitated with that traumatic event. And I saw people come together in a way that showed the spirit of unity and resiliency in this community. In the decade past, we've seen the Norris School District grow by over 20% in student enrollment, and we've seen the district add around $25 million in infrastructure. So this campus is not a small place, but we remain humble and modest about working to efficiently provide the best learning space for students through the talents of the most dedicated staff in the world. So in conclusion, I want to say congratulations, Norris Schools. Thank you to those who've served the district as staff members, those who have served the school district as board members, our prior administrators, and I also want to congratulate our alum and say thank you for giving your time and talents to the Norris School District as students, and encourage those who are current students to do the very best they can to carry that legacy of great achievement forward. Thank you, and congratulations, Norris, on 50 years.